Right, hi guys, how we doing? Nice to see you all again this evening. We're back up on actually streaming with on Facebook, going to 2 YouTube channels as well. I'll try and get the links up for them YouTube channels so we can post them up. Actually, Ari, if you're on here, maybe you can find them links and post them up onto the Facebook. So we've got Mike Cradock again with us tonight. So we'll be running through a few things again. I haven't even got to pour my vodka yet, so I'm going to be pouring my vodka shortly. So let's just get straight into it, and we'll bring Mike in. Hey Mick, how we doing?
Good, thanks. You, George?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Can't complain.
No, under the circumstances.
Yeah, under the circumstances, yeah.
And I can drink, but it's being it's 4 o'clock or 4:05 on a Saturday afternoon. I can have a drink. So cheers, George.
Yeah, we're back on. Hold on. I haven't got my very drink out yet. What are you drinking?
It's gin.
It's a gin.
Gin and slimline tonic.
4:05 on a Saturday afternoon. Gin and slimline tonic. What, are you on a diet or what?
Yeah.
Well,
is that a fresh bottle then, George, is it?
Yeah, the vodka fairies dropped me off another fresh bottle. Always nice to have. I don't know why, but our messages aren't coming up. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add in another one while you're doing that. So how's, well, it looks like you've got some nice sunny weather over there.
Yeah, it's been nice and warm. I think it's about 24 today, something like that. And it was like 24? That yesterday as well, so that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, 24 Celsius, yeah. Don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
No idea what that's in Fahrenheit. I don't work in them sort of numbers. I'll leave that to the Americans. So what have you been doing with yourself over the last few days, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it was a bit of a day off yesterday, if you can say that. So I did a bit of gardening and stuff like that. Refreshed the hot tub, so that was all there, all good. All the water's all been changed and done. That's it. I have to change it because Michelle's been in it. So
I was going to say that was why Michelle was out in it yesterday.
Yeah. I tested it to see if there was too much chlorine in it or not, and she didn't complain, so it was all right. But it's stinging all right.
That's always a winner then. Right, so hopefully should be getting the messages up now.
So have you got any questions yet?
Yeah, I've got a question. Can you let me just pour my vodka in my Coke so I can get a drink?
Go on then.
So we've had Kyle's been online. We've had Jason Naguro as well from Indonesia.
Yeah.
We've had quite a busy day actually. No, so we've got a few guys online. We've got hi Kevin, how you doing? Kevin friend. Brockhill, Ari, Mohamed Yusuf, Teresa Ruiz. Hola Tere, ¿cómo está? Yeah, so a few people online. Ciao. Oh yeah, there you are. Coming up on the screen now. Yeah. So it's been quite a busy week. Actually, I see I've just seen Neo online as well. There seems to be a lot of guys going online now doing all the live streaming.
Yeah, that's good.
I think there's another one for the Norwegian boys as well. Been helping one of the guys set up for that.
Yeah, I see that. Is it Danny? Is it Dan?
Yeah, that's it. Daniel Mowatsky or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Mowatsky, and I think he's doing it with Rune, who's an old time racer from Norway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it'll be good for them boys anyway. Oh, there he is. Danny's online now. Hi, Mike. Hi, George. How you doing, Danny? So, hope you get your live going well today, mate.
You'll have to watch
my
that
mum's
later
online and all. Yeah. And yes. So, yeah, this week has been pretty tight up. I think next week we've got Peter Hamlink. Yeah, he's confirmed for on Monday.
What about Christophe Bouvet? Have you got him yet?
No, I've not managed to get hold of Christophe, but I think that's going to have to be a chat for you and myself to get Christophe. Maybe you can get him lined up for it.
Yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah.
Maybe we can do that on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a laugh and a giggle with him.
Yep. Should be fun.
Right. So what should we have a chat about today? I mean, we've got loads on here.
No questions
right.
yet?
RTR kits. Let's talk a bit about RTRs today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no questions as yet. Everybody's posting up and saying hello and everything, but no questions. So RTR kits. How good are they? Can we use them for racing? What sort of modifications do we need to do for racing? So the RTR kits. We've got quite a lot of the RTR kits out there now, isn't there?
Yeah, you can. They're all of our RTR kits are all post like race cars anyway. So it's like there's not an MP10 ready set out yet, but there's an MP9 one already. Yeah, and that's quite good, ready set to go. Good strong engine in them, because we do I know this myself because I've done a break-in service for the ready sets now, because people want to just fire them up and have no problem, and that's it. And we've had very good success with that, breaking the engines in, setting all of their radios up, and away they go. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a myth really about the RTR, and I think when you're learning, you've got to learn how to go around the track and drive it properly before you go on to the good stuff, if I'm completely honest. And I think a decent driver with a ready set, I think, would do as good as with a higher grade car with someone with less experience,
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of difference. Obviously I'd say the biggest thing to move on to, I would say, is stronger servos. The servos are good. They're metal geared in the MP9 ready set. I would go straight away from rather dry cell batteries to a rechargeable pack. A NIMS pack was perfectly fine, rather than go the LiPo route. That was it. That would be the only thing I'd recommend to buy, really, to start off with, and then just have fun with it and start driving. All the tyres fit and the wheels fit to the ready set. It's all the same.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said there, I was going to ask you actually about the break-in service. Kyosho Europe do the break-in service, which is actually done by yourself as well, right?
Yeah, and then we just sign a sheet saying it was broken on this day. We run 2 litres of fuel through it and break it in, basically, and then check everything's working, set all the end points up, because the radio is quite good now with the ready sets. You can set all the end points, set all the braking up. So we set everything up, and I put a little marker on all the trims, and I mark up all of the needle settings, so it's all ready. Yeah, and that's done. We don't actually use the car. We just use the engine and the manifold, and then I have exactly the same ready set exhaust, and the fuel tank is exactly the same. So I use all of that, so that and a different clutch bell, so that nothing gets worn out on the car, really. Okay. So the car looks brand new when you've got it. It's just the engine is broken in.
Yeah. So does somebody have to order that, or you can just go to the shop and buy them?
It's a specific order, and there's a few shops that have taken it. We do them in. The shop has to take relatively, to make it cost effective, we have to do 4 minimum. but most shops are ordering 8 at a time.
Oh wow, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, for ready sets, but that's a normal. Some of the shops they're ordering 8 a month anyway. It's not a problem.
Yeah,
and they're so it's not a problem. We sold to about 3 different shops, the pre-broken one.
Yeah,
And all being good, haven't really had anything come back, so must be an easier way. They know that all the needles are set. Obviously, like we spoke before, there's no sort of specific so many turns out. There's a start off procedure. Again, all I do with the braking with the ready set engines, I just turn the idle up because of the tightness of the piston locking up, and then I just tune it. I break it in, so I run it in same way as we've spoke before about breaking in.
Right. So so is that something that only Kyle Show Europe do, or is it other places do that as well?
It's the only one we do. That's what we come out with, another idea to get make it easier for the ready sets to be sold for shops. Some shops are not too into nitro. They'd much rather sell an electric car because they know that they can just charge the battery and away you go. But you've still got to keep the nitro going for the enthusiast, because if any problems ever happen with these lipo batteries, because they are a bit dangerous, and we've had shipping problems, they've had boats catch fire due to lipo batteries where they've been crushed in the crates, set fire to containers, and if anything catches fire on a container ship, they just toss it over the side rather than take the whole ship up. And we've had a lot of people, nearly burn their house down, unfortunately, or garages, because you switch on the wrong setting. There's a few cars gone up in the pits. So it only takes a couple more, a few problems with these lipo batteries, and we could be back to NIM batteries again. And then you need the nitro performance again. Nitro. Yeah. You need people to learn about nitro engines as well. It's more fun.
Yeah.
Nitro is it's still the future of RC racing. Nitro is. Electric's easy, but there's still a lot. It's like we were speaking the other night when we were talking about your speedo. You couldn't work out what you had a problem with. With electric, if something's not plugged in the right way or something's not right, you can either blow it up, but you just can't see. You can't see something's happening. With an engine, at least you know that if the glow plug's gone, you can see it. But if it takes you ages to find it out if a sensor lead is causing the problem or the motor connection to that, it could be.
To diagnose the electronics is a nightmare.
Unless you've got, even with a plug-in box, won't tell you that you've got a FET gone down or something like that. At least you can take an engine apart and have a look at it. With electronics, you have to send to a electronics genius to tell you that the FET's gone and it's not commercially viable to fix it. You need to buy a new one. So that's a lot of problems. Not to say that once you got the hang of setting everything up, it's not a problem. I've relatively had not a lot of problem with lipo batteries or in the 1/10 scale, not a lot of problem really, as long as you follow it and read the instructions, which us men have trouble reading instructions until something goes wrong.
We'll do it first and then we'll read the instructions once we've broken it. Just look at the radio, something wrong with it.
But back to the ready sets. It's I really feel sorry for some kids come down, their parents have saved up some money and brought them a ready set, and you get the guys at club level guys going to, you didn't want to buy that ready set, you should have brought this, and you should have bought this engine, and you need this, and then you're talking like nearly £2,000 to get a full setup like you need. But with a ready set, if you've got the skills and the ambition, you can put in the same lap times as a mediocre club level driver. And that's no BS. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's just you got to learn how to drive it. And again, tyres are the most important thing. Then you can adjust your shocks, the setup on the shocks, and get that right and a happy medium. Get it how you like it, and you won't be far off. This is what I wanted to do at the Car Show Masters. I wanted to get a ready set car, bog standard, and then get the elite drivers all to have a go with it, get 4 or 5 laps, and see what their fastest time is. And then the next driver comes up and has a go, gets 5 laps, and see who can put the best time in. And I bet you any money, one guy put on, but they won't be far off, I guarantee. And it'll be proof in the pudding that a ready set car. I think a few people in the expert class and elite class will be a bit put off that the top guys can put around faster than they can with a ready set car, complete ready set, even with the same. Yeah. So it'll be a good advertising tool just to prove that point. So,
well, I did something like that. When was that? Last year, for our first nationals. Kyoto Toy Car, they helped me out and they passed me a ready set car. Just did some basic stuff on it. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to break in the engine, so I set that to the side and just put in one of my Reds engines. Few minor bits on it, and changed out the front strut, the strut tower, shock tower. Sorry, changed that one out. Just put a thicker one on. Put some boots on. Had some old TKO3 boots. Stuck them on it. And then the rest of it was pretty much stock. I didn't even change the diffs. I just left the diffs as they were straight out of the box. I think I just played around with the shocks. And then went out, and it was actually pretty good. I had a good bit of fun with it actually. I think overall I finished 12th, which wasn't bad. I thought I was quite happy with where it was for an RTR to get into the A main and make 12th position.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good fun. But then that got sold off. I do prefer my car. But yeah,
it's what you can afford. But so if you can get more people into the hobby with the ready sets, instead of the ready sets being like the guy that owns the ready set car's too scared to come to the track, and that's what a lot is. It takes a lot of actually going out on the track when there's some fast guys on the track, and this is what we've got to get over this thing. We've got to welcome new people in, because it's the only way you're going to get more and more people to race with and get it done professionally. They want to see it looking good, and what we were saying about the tidiness of the tracks and stuff like that, and getting kids involved. But the way to get kids involved is a ready set you can buy for £250 or $300 odd dollars. You can get going racing, and with a bit of equipment.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. It's getting these guys down here, just showing them how to use it, and inviting them in. I remember when I first started back in Malaysia, I was sort of like, shit, I don't know who to go to, who to talk with, how do I manage it? Well, I was able to go to the shops, but they weren't really helpful on it neither. For me, I feel that the shops need to be a bit more helpful with it. Maybe look, give this guy a shout. He'll be more than happy to help you out with the track or something. Yeah. Help somebody out, which same as yourself. Come on, we'll go down and we'll set it all up and take it out. Even just down to the basics, doing the figure of eights. Starting it there.
Yeah, but I remember my first meeting I went to, and my first 1/8 meeting was a national.
Oh, really?
I'll be all right. I'll go there. But I was quite worried about going there and driving. But lucky enough, where I went was quite local, and there was a few friendly people. It's where I met Stuart Wilcox and his dad. They were friendly and helpful as ever, and it was really good. And I was worried. I had the old myth about using 25% nitro. Then that was the highest you could get, or 20%, and I was using 16%, and I couldn't get a tune on my engine. And the reason I was worried about the nitros, I always thought that if you have too much nitro, you'll burn your engine out. But it actually is the other way around. Yeah. It's the more you know with it. With 16%, you have to be really fine on the needles, and in the end you end up running it leaner, if anything, to get the performance out of it. You're not getting the bang. It's a bit like lighting your barbecue with petrol or lighting it with the proper fluid that you're supposed to use. You just get a bit of smoke and it's boring. Put a bit of petrol on and you stand light it. And woof, that's how it is, and how the nitro is as well. So you want the more nitro, the cooler the engine will run because you can run it richer, and it's better. And even today, shops are trying to sell people with ready sets at 10% fuel or 16% braking fuel. Just buy the 25% because it's better for your engine and it's easier. All right, it might be a bit more expensive, but it just makes everything easier to tune.
Yeah, well. But it's cheaper in the long run because you ain't having to replace your bloody engine so often.
Exactly, or burning glow plugs out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first thing I learned was you can use 25% fuel and it won't hurt your engine, and it was actually better for my engine. My engine ran a lot better when I went from 16% to 25%, and then when we were allowed to use 30%, I would use 30%. It was so much easier, and I could run the bottom end richer how I liked it. And it was awesome.
Yeah. It just makes it a bit more difficult though for the shops bringing in like two different levels of the fuel, whether it be the 25 or the 30.
Yeah, which is good now. In Europe, everyone uses 25%. We're not allowed to use 30%. I think it's better in America 30% because the air quality in America doesn't seem to be as good. I always found when we used to go over there years ago, we used to have to take the Venturi out completely out of RBs to get them to go over the jumps.
Oh yeah,
just to get the air in. So I think it's something to do with the sea level.
Yeah. We only run 25 here now anyway. The same. I mean, we're based on IFMA's regulations, so for all the nationals it's just 25. So I don't think any of the shops actually bring in anything more than 30. I was talking with Kyle the other day, but I think they got VP racing already in Australia, so he'll normally use like a 30%.
Yeah.
Ari's trying to ask a question here. I'm not too sure what it means. How frequent we need to change bearing blue brush for aluminium buckle? Sorry, Ari, you're gonna have to rewrite that question, mate. I haven't got a clue what you're trying to say. Bashir saw a main doing a whole 4-part series converting Kyosho RTR to race ready. I think I saw them as well. Did you see them ones?
No, I didn't see it, but it sounds a good idea.
Yeah, A-Main did it. I think it was last year. They did a 4-part series on it. So, guys, if you're running the RTR and you're looking for a bit of information, go and take a look at the A-Main videos if you're looking at converting. Chris Chow, hi guys. Many years back, I got a IWB chassis for the MP5. IWB chassis for the MP5 from 3-5 models. Can Mike elaborate about the development of the chassis, please? You know what that's about?
The chassis? No, I don't. I don't know. Was that the longer wheelbase chassis for the MP5? Was that?
Must be LWB, yeah, long wheelbase chassis for the MP5.
Yeah. Because I remember in '96 when LaFranchi was he won the Worlds in '96 at Bewley in England, and we noticed that he drilled an extra chassis, like an extra hole in the original chassis, which you could do. There had a little lip over that on the MP5, and so he drilled it back. I think it was 5 or 10 mil back. And so what we did was got an MIP drive shaft, and we moved it back, and it transformed the handling. It actually gave it more steering as well, because in theory all the weight was forward on it, and we did it. I remember Jamie Booth and Lawrence Harris were all in the same team. We were racing in France somewhere, and it was definitely €96 in France. I can't remember what. And we actually drilled it out there and managed to get a drive shaft from somewhere. I might have even got a Pirate drive shaft, which was a dog bone, and we just changed and we fitted in because we didn't have UJs in the centre then anyway, so we just got a longer drive shaft, and it transformed the car. And then next, I think it was the MP6 International, they changed it. And made it a longer wheelbase. Amazing, yeah, really good.
But now with the MP10, we've gone a bit longer as well, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's even longer, but because we've got longer rear wishbones, it's right on the limit you can have it. But because they sort of turn in a little bit more, I've got one here. You can see, how much they turn in. So so the wheelbase is actually.
So although you're moving it backwards,
so it's all legal.
It's actually you're moving the wheels forward, trying to get that toe in. Yeah. But then we can also play around with the spacers as well to move that backwards or forwards as well, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's funny. He mentions about 3.5 models as well. That's quite funny because that's Michelle's dad's shop. That was in Hartford. 3.5 models.
Oh, really?
Doug. Yeah, Doug used to run it. Yeah. That opened up in '93, and he sold it to a guy in 2003. So yeah, he had it 10 years, and then unfortunately it went bankrupt in 2 years after that. But we were like Kyosho specialists, where Stuart had models in motion, which we were talking about, and he was a Mugen specialist then.
Yeah.
So he went. So it was quite good, really, because we had two good shops in the area, and he was. I think he was Mugen and Nova Rossi specialist, and we were Kyosho and OS specialist then, and we used to do the chroming on the OS piston and liner then, because they had like a nickel seal chroming, and it used to just come off or didn't last very long. So we used to get a guy down in Kent. He used to chrome the liner, and then we used to machine a piston. And sometimes they were tight as hell, but once they were broken in, they lasted forever.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay. All right, mate. I think we just had a little bit of a fault while we were doing all that. There's some questions which I've missed. Yeah. Nitro's a glory. How's Mike and George? Chris Chow, yes, long wheels base chassis. Alfie's got a question. I was tuning my engine and I could not get it to go up to 110 degrees. It was stable around 95 to 98 degrees. When I tried to lean it more, it just went haywire and started to overheat. Any idea why? So he's got an engine. It was stable at about 95 to 98. Yeah, but was it?
Was it running okay at that temperature before he tried to get it hotter?
No idea.
Because that's what.
Oh, yeah, I'm assuming it was because he said after he went to 98, he said that if you tried to lean it out a bit more to get the temperature up, then it was going nuts. Yeah.
Well, that just shows you that's why I don't go by temperature that much. Well, I only I think even Elliot mentioned that he checks the temperature just to make sure that there's no damage being done to the engine and overheating. But if it's running fine, run it. Don't. I always go by the tuning, because you can, with temperatures, I can make an engine really hot, or I can make it really cool. All I've got to do is take it easier for 2 laps, drive around at half throttle for 2 laps, and the engine will cool down. I'll bring it in, you can temp it, then I can go around and just absolutely muller it for 2 laps, and then bring it in, and then you'll be saying it's too hot, so you'll be richening it out. So
yeah.
You just got to get the engine so it runs nice, it idles nice, it doesn't cut out. That's what you're looking for. If you can do that, then don't worry about the temperature, unless unless you're lacking in some performance, then check the temperature. And if it's a lean bogging or something like that, or something doesn't feel right and it's blowing plugs, then check the temperature.
Yeah.
So that just proves that it could be too tight. His engine could be too tight, or it could be just right, and everything's working fine at that temperature. So.
Yeah. It's I can't remember where it was. I think I was probably with you or with Elliot or somebody. But I remember it was over in the UK or Europe.
Yeah.
And somebody asked them, what's the temperature? And don't know. So shit, you don't know your temperature? No. If it sounds good, feels good, it's right.
Yeah, same.
And that's it. And I don't think I've ever used my temp gun ever, since then. I know David, when he comes and helps us out as a mechanic, he'll always use the temp gun. But for me, as long as it sounds right, feels right, go with it.
That's it.
Chris is saying thank you. Overheating meaning flame out. Oh, so he was flaming out.
Yeah. So hopefully when it was at the higher temperature, when he tried to get it at a higher temperature, it was cutting out. Yeah. So when he went back down to the normal one, no problem at all.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That's what he meant.
Yeah. Thank you. So he's going to follow the steps and make sure it's, the engine's all good. Which engine is that, Alfie? If you don't mind me asking, let us know, will you? It's quite strange though that to get them sort of temperatures in Malaysia. I mean, normally in Malaysia, we're normally up to around 100. I think mine normally runs at about 115, 120 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say that's quite cold for Malaysia temperatures.
Yeah. It's an FX engine.
Your base temperature for a Reds engine is 85 Celsius plus the ambient temperature. So that's your maximum you can take it up to then.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay,
so 85 Celsius, whatever temperature is outside.
Plus what the ambient is. Yeah. So Neo's got a bit of a serious question here. Is a Dupi or malt beer always better than a single malt beer?
I don't know because I don't like beer.
Sorry, Neil, you're going to have to answer that one for us, mate.
Yeah, I like.
But cheers anyway.
Lagers. Yeah, cheers. Sure, I need another drink. Can't get the bar staff around here.
No, you can't, can you? Terrible. Double malted. Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Hi, darling. Good, Jim.
I can't stop laughing. Yeah, I can see you now. You managed to get out of the jacuzzi.
Yeah, just about 9:30. I went to bed.
Yeah, that temperature on the jacuzzi is 37. It's body temperature, perfect. If you have it higher than that, you have to keep getting out and cool off and then get in. If you have it lower than that, even when it's a hot day, you'll have to sort of you're too cold. So 37 is spot on.
So anybody with their jacuzzis out in this time of need, 37 is the magic number.
Yeah.
We'll send Michelle along just to test it if you need a tester.
Thank you, sweetness.
That's okay. Can I go and sit down on the sofa again?
My sweet angel.
Brockhill's asking, breaking an engine, 16%, good or bad?
It's okay, but I would use, like I've said before, use the fuel you're going to use with the engine in the end anyway. There's no point.
Yeah.
Just run it up, It's the same bit I think it's like what they call the Chinese tanks, where you run it rich, like flat out and rich for about 5 tanks, and then you start breaking in. You might as well just pour the fuel straight down the engine without it running, because you're not really heat tempering it. It's good to do it for the first tank, maybe, just to make sure there's no strange noises and everything's lubricated. But after that, you need to just tune it up, tune it how you want it, and then just drive it gently for 3 tanks up to, like I said, quarter throttle, 3 tanks up to half throttle, 3 tanks up to 3/4, and then just touching full throttle for 2 tanks, and then tune it up again and get it how you want it. On tarmac, it's the best way because it's more consistent, not too much friction for it to pull away from. Yeah. So I would recommend the same fuel that you're going to race with, break it in with, and then nothing strange to the engine, because the 16%, it might be a different brand of fuel, and it might have some different nitro in it compared to the 25% of that brand. You don't know. So it's always best to run, because if you change fuels with an engine, sometimes you can do more damage than good. Some fuels have a reaction with other fuels. They can take all the carbon and all the goodness that you've done with the engine, take it off within a couple of minutes. I've been to European events where some guys been using the same fuel, no trouble at all. Couldn't get the same fuel out in the Euros, used another stuff, and it just took all of the carbon off of his engine, and he had to sort of basically retune his engine. But by that time, he'd ruined his Euros, because he'd cut out 3 times in his qualifications.
Yeah.
So it's just when you're choosing a fuel,
make sure you can get something that they've got overseas.
Yeah. Or if you can't get that, take a new engine with you to the Euros and break the engine in with the fuel that you'll get, and you'll be safer.
That's going to take you a while to do that, isn't it?
Well, you only need to break in an engine. You need 2 or 3 litres, get running at absolutely perfection. Then it's sort of like 5 or 6. But if you've got the time, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because it's better than having an engine out. Even if the engine's not quite on it, it will be by the time you get to the bump up finals and stuff like that. It should be fine. Because in qualification, your engine will perform for you.
Okay. Yeah. Alfie's got another question. When you brake into a corner, I need to see more. When you brake into a corner, do you brake in a straight line and turn, or tap the brakes and also use the cornering speed to slow down the car?
Well, it's an old saying that I always use is slow in, fast out.
Fast out,
so
yeah.
So you basically want to get everything. You want to line up, get yourself lined up for the corner. Yeah, brake in a straight line. Make sure your brake bias is good. I like 50-50, or maybe 60 to the front and 40 to the rear.
40 to the rear. Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, because if you've got too much on the rear, all it's going to do is, when you're really braking hard, is handbrake turn. But if you have too much brake on the front, if you're going over a lot of bumps when you're putting the brakes on, you're just going to flip over.
Yeah.
So I like 50-50 if I can get it, and I like to brake. I'm an old boy now, so I like to brake in a straight line and then let it roll into the corner, and then get the line right, and then just feed the throttle in. Hold a bit of throttle on while you go around, and just feed it in, and that's it. So yeah, I would do that. If you're trying to brake and turn, the car's going to push or try and slide because it'll break traction. So, or you can a little bit of brake.
Yeah. So what I tend to do on mine, if we've got a loose track, I'll actually reduce my brakes.
That's it.
My theory being is that if you actually get your brakes too hard, you're doing is piling that dust up in front, and you're not actually really stopping. It's just acting as you're taking all that friction away.
Plus, you're skidding. You're not slowing down, so you're sliding the same way. It's a bit like braking on ice, isn't it? or snow.
Yeah.
If you let,
So as long as I can keep the wheels just moving a little bit. Yeah.
That's it. Well, you got more control because the diffs will work and everything like that. If you when you're turning, it's like when people are on in just panic and just keep their foot on the brake. Where if they actually just let the foot off and then turn the car, it would actually turn where they wanted it to go. So that's a good example of what you were looking for. So yeah, generally brake in a straight line, and then just go around, roll around the corner, you know, and that's it. But a lot of people you see, they're braking too late. You want to, what I would advise when you're getting used to a track is just coast up, put a bit of brake on, just coast up and get your lines right, and then work out where your braking point is. Even if there's a little mark on the track, find the braking point there, and you know where you can brake to. And like you say, George, is the lighter you have the brakes, then you're not gonna lose control of the car. You know.
Yeah.
If you've got too much brakes, you're gonna control easier on the car than you are if you have less brakes.
But then I mean, because I use the dual rates a lot, so as I'm coming up into my finals, I've got the traction's now coming up a bit, so I increase my dual rates a little bit, just so then I can get that as the traction's coming up, my braking's coming up with it as well.
Yeah, and that's what you use in your warm-up laps before the final. Make sure all your trims, your steering's going in a straight line. Trim it all out. Put your brakes on. Test your brakes. Make sure everything's working fine. Because when you take your car apart from your qualifying, you might have put something back slightly different or used the wrong brake disc from front to rear.
Yeah.
So you might have messed your brake balance up right, or there might be a bit of grease on one of the brakes and that, and you need to check all of that. Everything's working fine, because there's nothing worse than not having any brakes or having too much brakes. So in your warm-up laps, that's what you need to be checking for. Make sure the car's braking well. Everything else is working good.
Yeah. And when I take my brakes off, I always mark them up A and B, so they're always going back the same way and to the same position. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just take off and I'll write with a marker pen front F on the front disc and rear on the rear disc, so that I know the disc is going back the same way as well, so that you've got the face at the front, because that can make a difference if it's rotating the other way. Yeah,
so you've always got the same rotation. It's in the fronts with the front, rears with the rear. Neo's asking, glue inserts to the rim, yes or no? When? And when? Okay, back to tyre gluing now. So the inserts, I think we spoke about this the other day. So do we do it, yes or no? And if we do it, when do we do it?
Is that gluing the insert, did you say? I thought you
gluing
said
the insert to the wheel.
Glue it, yeah.
Glue the insert to the rim.
A lot of people glue the insert on high grip tracks because it takes a little bit of traction away, and on high speed tracks, because what happens is the insert centrifugal force starts ballooning the coming out and expanding with the tire and helping it balloon. So if you glue it, it keeps the tire lower profile on high power tracks. And plus, if you've got a lot of movement with the insert and the tire moving about, it creates friction and makes the tire more pliable, so you'll get more grip and you'll get more heat into the tire. If you're on a high traction track, if that insert is solid to the rim, it won't move around so much, so it's just the tire will be moving rather than the insert as well. So it gives you a better feel, more consistent feel, especially on high grip, because the tire grips so much and then it just gives way, or it grips too much and just flicks your car over. So that's when I would glue an insert, is if you're high grip or high speed tracks where your tires are really ballooning on the power.
But gluing your inserts isn't always that easy. I'm terrible at bloody doing it when I need to do it.
Yeah, I hate
as you saw in Vietnam.
It's another thing to do, isn't it? So it's bad enough gluing the tires up, isn't it?
It's bad enough gluing them up. I normally, when you're trying to get it under, you've got really thin glue, and it just ends up coming out the bottom.
I'd say the most important thing for your wheels and tyres is balancing your wheels. Getting them balanced, because that protects. It keeps the good performance in the air, good straight line speed. Because if you've got one, you wouldn't drive your normal car with the steering wheel going like that, and that's what it's trying to do to your servo. So it's all damage to your servo gears, all your linkages, everything. Yeah. When that car's about and the wheel, you can see some, especially on truggies, it exaggerates it more because it's a bigger, heavier wheel.
Yeah.
So I would concentrate on balancing your wheels rather than worry about the inserts at the time and getting that right, because that's going to do, an unbalanced wheel is going to do a lot more damage to everything on your car and decrease the performance of how they work and your car working. Yeah,
it's got so much to do. I mean, the car's got so much to deal with going with the vibrations. Yep. It doesn't need the extra assistance from your wheels or anything.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Neil, so I hope that answers your question. So if you're going to glue them up, high-speed tracks or high-grip tracks, yeah. Glenn, what's the difference between, Glenn McClure, what's the difference between the hard and the softer servo saver springs? Oh, the springs. Actually, it's not just the springs. We've also got the aluminium bell crank as well, right?
Yeah. It depends. With the servo savers, it depends how you like your steering. If you really want it positive, then I would use the aluminium optional servo saver at the bottom, so there's no flex. With Joao, he likes it really direct, so he just winds his servo saver all the way down, so that it's virtually hardly working.
Yeah.
And so he likes it. He likes instant reaction, where Elliot used to like it with a little bit of give. He said it was too twitchy with the aluminium servo saver and the aluminium arm, and even he liked the shorter arm. We used to use the Sanwa arm as well, just to smooth the steering out, because that can make a big difference as well. But I always like the plastic one. I wind it down about, so you've got 3 millimeters of thread showing from new.
Yeah.
It's important that you do the servo saver and set it from new, because if you have it too loose at the beginning, you're not going to get it tight, because you'll wear the sort of, the triangular peak that it's got, that it goes over. You'll wear the top off, and then you can tighten it down as much as you can, and it'll still move, and you'll get play. But for high grip tracks again, the car will want to go straight and the steering will want to go straight, so it takes a lot more force for the car to your servo to push the steering over. So the tighter you have the servo saver, the better. So if you're running on high grip tracks, I would use the option aluminium one, but you've got to have a good servo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're going through servo gears, I don't know if anyone's seen anybody steering twitching like that. What that is that's a small gear in the middle servo. It's got a bit of play, and the servo's trying to centralise it. That's telling you that either your servo gears or your servo is not up to the job that you're using it for, or the servo saver's too tight and damaging the gears when you're taking a shock or some damage. So I've seen a lot of cars doing it. When you start seeing the servo on the stand on the warm up, when you're warming ready to go out, and you see it twitching about, there's the play there's a small gear that lays flat in between your main gear and your the rest of your servo gears. There's a small flat one, and that's got play in it. You just need to change that, and that will sort it out again. But that's telling you that your servo saver's too tight, or your servo's not up to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you've got to... Sorry, go
on. You got what?
You got to weigh up consequences. The tighter your servo saver, the more damage and the more likely you are to have a servo failure. But you'll have good steering if you like your car really responsive and really reactive.
Yeah. Now you're saying there about the shorter servo arm. So I think we've now got the 18.5 as well with the Kyosho, yeah.
That's it.
Which is the same size as the Sanwa. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. But the sand wire, unfortunately, had a bit milled out, and what would happen is they would crack. You don't realise, and then you wouldn't see it unless you got an X-ray machine, and then it would just snap off. And unfortunately, it's let Elliot down twice in races, so it's a shame. But that's the risk you take of having good performance. Again, like we were saying, with your servo saver up too tight, you risk damaging your servo arm or your servo gears, or you're actually burning out your servo.
Yeah.
You've got to weigh up with this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, I normally set mine at around 2.5. That's why I normally like mine, about 2.5 mm. But it's amazing how much movement you still get in that.
Yeah, because if you're changing your caster as well, so if you're going to like 16, 17 or 18 at more higher speed, the car wants to go straight still. So it's taking a lot more leverage out on the servo as well. The servo's wanting more power to get that car to actually turn at high speed. Obviously, when you've got 13-degree hubs, it's gonna be easier work for the servo at high speed or low speed. But the more degrees you go up, the tighter you've got to have the servo saver as well at high speed. Because I've had people come up to me and say, I put the 17.5-degree hubs on, Mick, and I can't notice any difference at high speed than my 13. And then you can see their wheels going like that at high speed, and that where the servo saver is just not tight enough. So again, you're wasting your time if you haven't got the servo saver tight to start off with.
I remember in Vietnam when we went out with the truggy. Was it Vietnam?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, we went out with the truggy. Yeah, holy shit! Yeah. There was no steering.
We got to tighten.
Tightened it up, and it was. It turned.
Curb,
Made a difference.
Exactly. People don't realise just them little things.
No, it is. It's the details.
A good test to do is put your car on the floor and let it on like your pit, and then just turn it and see what it's doing. See if you're getting full lock, because you might not be getting full lock. You know, it's all very well setting it on the stand and that at full lock, but you might not be getting full lock when you're on something grippy surface. That's a good way to tell as well what the servo saver's doing. You know.
Okay, so we've got Neil asking a question here. You've worked with world elite drivers. What are the similarity you found in terms of the car preparation?
Well, I do all the preparation exactly the same. It's driver preference. They tell me how they want it, and I try and advise them on the best way if I know. Sometimes I don't understand. I might ask someone else. You know, you're always learning. So as for preparation, I prep all the cars the same, because I know over the years the way I've done things, they seem to work okay for me. With different drivers, it depends how hard they are with the car. And like I was saying, where Elliot preferred the plastic servo saver, Zhao prefers the aluminium servo saver. So I always keep an eye more on Zhao's servos to make sure that they are working fine. And that's it. I think actually in Montpellier, before the semi-final in Montpellier, I felt I was checking his steering, and I felt there was stiffness in the servo, and he'd actually bent a pin on the servo, so we had to take that out. So within 10 minutes we changed all the tray and set all the radio up, and it was ready. So it's just driver preference is how they want their setup, but for maintenance and everything else, I do everything the same, because that's how I know it's reliability. I wouldn't risk trying to change anything unless I've tried it myself and tried and tested.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, obviously the guys have got some trust and faith in you. How's your kingpins, by the way?
I hope so. Oh yeah, they're kingpins. Yeah, I've had two couple.
Sorry, I thought I'd drop that one in.
Yeah, plenty of thread lock on the kingpin. Yeah.
Actually, with all the sets I make up, if I'm changing to any of my casters, I normally have them all the sets made up for the 16, 19,
Yeah,
17.5.
we do.
Yeah, and I just want, so once I've put them in there, that's it, I'll leave them then. You'd be the same, yeah? Yeah. Alfie's asking again, do you really need to change the conrod after every 3 to 4 race meets? Or can you just keep the original conrod for a longer period?
Well, I would change the conrod after 10 litres. That's the recommended for reds anyway, because what happens is you may not feel any difference, but it's like you'll get a bit of movement with the Phosphor bronze, and obviously the crank is not going to wear, but the Phosphor bronze will wear. But what will happen is, because you've got a bit of play, you're not going to get full dead center, top dead center. So you're not going to get the big bang that you want. What you're getting is the piston won't be going up as high, so it won't compress the fuel and explode as well. And
yeah, you're lowering your compression ratio.
So your piston won't. You'll be losing stroke, which you'll lose torque in the engine. Plus, the engine will run richer in the end. So as soon as you change the conrod, you'll notice the difference in performance. But if your conrod goes, it smashes the engine to bits. It'll smash the side of the sleeve. It'll take the piston out. So for the sake of the conrod's quite cheap. I think a conrod in a Reds is about, it's about $20 or something like that. I think, how much is it, George, in your money? You're the distributor. Yeah, you don't.
So it goes something like that.
Dog leg. Yeah, exactly. So what's happened there is that the Phosphor bronze has moved, where we were saying it's got a bit of play in it. It's moved around. It's blocked the oil port up, and then it just burns you, and then it'll ruin your crank pin as well. You'll look at the crank pin, and it'll look like someone's heated it up with a blowtorch. So
yeah, that was destroyed. That was of OS.
How much do you sell? How much retail was your conrod, George?
Oh, the conrods
to the shops, not trade.
I think they're about what's it? About 100 ringgit or so, somewhere around there. They're not that expensive.
What's that in English? What's that in English? 25.
That in English, yeah, about that, yeah, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, 25 quid to change your conrod, where you could smash your engine to bits, and you might as well throw it away, and all the good thing will be left on your engine is your maybe your crankcase if it hasn't gouged anything out. The carburetor would be good, and the head, the actual cooling head, everything else would be gone, because it would just be like sandblasted inside from the debris. When that thing's revving at 37,000, and that thing lets go, like you've seen the damage that can do. For 25 quid or 100 ringgit, you might as well change it after 10 litres, which is 2 gallons.
Well, I've also tested this as well with the I did a change on the conrod and then I did another change with the conrod and the bearing, and it was amazing actually how much the main bearing as well was making up that difference. So your compression ratio when you first tested it. Yeah, exactly. So if you change it, normally if I change in the conrod, I'm changing the bearing as well, and get that try and get that the full top dead center. Yeah,
it's a good idea. Especially it's more important after the conrod. I think after the first time you change is more important at the 10 litres exactly, and maybe the bearing as well, because the engine's been under a bit more strain, because where you're breaking it in, the piston and the piston and liner are quite tight, so you've got more force on that conrod for the first 2 or 3 litres anyway. After that, when everything's broken in, it's running smoothly, put a new conrod in and then the bearing, and it probably lasts longer.
And then
I think
getting back to fuel as well. Yeah, if you run a decent fuel, got good lubrication in there as well. Yeah. I was talking about bearings. I was actually playing around with one of my engines. Playing around. I was actually rebuilding one of my engines today. I'll just grab this one. This was the actual engine. So we were talking the other day about making sure that the flywheel is tight and there's no movement.
That's it. Yeah,
So I'd not changed when I put this one back together. Make sure it was tight, put it in, but I was still getting movement. Now I've seen this quite a bit before already, but I've never actually really sort of studied what it was. And all it was the front bearing. It actually rotating. It felt really good, but there's still free play on it. Yeah, so there's just a little bit, so you can still feel it. Changed out the front bearing, good as gold. Yeah, nice and tight again.
Good. Was there any? There wasn't any marks on the back plate. There wasn't any marks on the back plate.
There was some very light score on the back plate. Nothing like to say that it was actually gouged in, but very light. Yeah.
That's right. That's good. That's good. Then you noticed it. Well, that's all part of maintenance and checking things. You know, it doesn't hurt to check anything all the time over.
Yeah.
As long as you don't, you know, as long as you're not overtaking. I see a lot of people taking their engines apart for no reason, and I see a lot of people taking their cars apart for no reason. Where the more you take it apart, the more chance you've got of something to go wrong. You know, just sort of work out a maintenance procedure. You know, if I say every 3 hours to change the diff oil, if that's the longest you want to go for it, then that'll be fine. You know, but if you want to change it, the diff oil's in a meeting, then fair enough, because you're not taking too much apart in the cars, and your shock oils as well. But when it comes to stripping the whole car down to actual bits, like rebuilding it again, sometimes if you're not putting it back in exactly the same place as how it was, and the same with an engine, you're causing more wear on your car. You're actually wearing your car out quicker.
It was I think it was actually when you were over here last time in January, back in January when you were here. I think I asked you, is that it? We're done? Said, yeah, we're finished. Said, holy shit, we don't need to strip the car down. I actually wanted to see that as well. You know what you actually do. Compared with David,
we just did all the diffs, didn't we? We did all the diffs and did the shocks, and that was it. Yeah, and that was it. New clutch, new bed, and that was it. Yeah, all the main things that affect the performance. But when you're stripping a diff out, it's not like you're stripping the whole car down. You're just taking and replacing the oil. And I keep all of the gears so that they're running in the same way. I keep all of the so the left-hand big gear and the drive cut is all the same side that it's been running. I don't just put everything in a box and mix it all up. I keep it all to one side and keep it all the same way. And then you're reducing the wear. You know, even the same. If I had to strip the drive shaft or whatever, I'll make sure that drive shaft comes out of the left side and the right side, and they stay that way because they're driving that way. If you put them in the other way, then they're going to be driving you, getting more wear.
Yeah.
Even with the screws in the bottom of the chassis, I put a mark, you know, so that when I take this off here, I'll put one black line through that one, and I'll put two black lines through that when I'm taking it off, so that I know that, because where you're going around a certain way, you're going to get more wear on that. Otherwise, you get the screws sticking out and catching, and that wears it down even more. And this one's just not doing anything, so it's better just everything wearing even and in the same place. Yeah.
So after that, I don't think I stripped my cars down. Previously, we saw it. I think a few of the guys stripped the whole car down, put it back together again. But as long as you've got the arm movements, everything's free, and it's all working.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just check everything and that, and like we said before, the cleaner you keep the car. Don't spray any WD-40 on it. I think Carl McBride was saying about that with the baby wipes, the perfect things. He doesn't spray any other like lubricant on the car. He just he just airlines off and wipes it over and buffs it up so it looks nice, and that's it. But as soon as you start putting water on the car and you're stripping things down, it's more things of whether you tightened it back up. I'm always forever tightening everything, so everything's getting, as we go through the meetings, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, rather than I've taken it apart and then I've just done it up, because it only takes one bolt to be loose and it's ruined your meeting. So the less, long as you do the right things, you know, like making sure that it's got a fresh clutch in it, or maintaining the clutch, it's got fresh bearings, all these things that can stop your engine, clean air filter, everything's tight on the car, fresh oil in the shocks, fresh oil in the diff, you know that your car's going to be running the same, and it's going to be reliable. But if you take too much apart, there's not a lot of point really, unless it's severely covered in mud and everything like that. But very rarely you'll get a meeting like that where it's totally covered in mud.
Oh, Alfie was saying on here, he's running on the FX Conrod. It's 200 ringgit. What's that in? It's about 40 quid. So he's just going to leave it in there until the engine blows up. Good lad, Alfie.
There's some people that run engines until they expire, and then you throw them away and you buy a new one. It's up to you what you want to do, really.
Yeah.
If an engine's $200, then what's the point of putting like you say, like a $40 Conrod in it, and then a new bearing like another $50 or whatever? You might as well just run that engine until it expires, and then throw it away, or put it on eBay saying it's a runner, and sell it for a couple of dollars or whatever, and buy a new engine, and then break that in the same way. If you're happy doing it like that, it's fine. But if you want your engine to run at the peak performance, where people don't really notice if they're driving the same engine and not really maintaining it, they think that it's okay. But if they absolutely looked at their lap times, say if they went to the same track at the beginning of the year when everything's fresh, and they checked their lap times, and then they had the same engine and then did their lap times, they'd probably notice half a second down on their lap times and could wonder why. It's probably the performance of the engine, because they've got used to the way that engine feels. If you bolted them a new one in, they go, "Oh my god, this engine's got loads of power," but it's probably not. It's not any different to the power you had at the beginning. And they think, "Oh, I've got to have that engine now," but it's probably not. It's probably not the engine. The engine probably got the same performance as another engine in that price range or whatever, but it's just because that one's fresh. With a Conrod, that's the best way you can freshen your engine up. A new plug, a Conrod, makes everything thrive. And a new air filter every hour helps, and a new clutch, making sure the clutch is working fine, because that can affect the performance of your car. I've seen people adjusting the idle and adjusting their tuning because the clutch is engaging too early. It's causing the engine to stall, and it won't pick up. The engine won't pick up. They're leaning it off and they're killing their engine because of the clutch, or the air filter's too clogged up with dirt, or the air filter's actually killing your engine because it's so full of dirt, it's taking dirt in the end. So it's all maintenance and being consistent with your maintenance.
Periodic, but routine. Hi Vincent, how you
That's
doing?
it, yeah, right. Who's that?
Vincent.
Vincent.
And Joe as well.
Hello,
how you doing, Joe?
Joe, how you doing? It's probably just
Alfie saying he noticed it takes a shorter period to wrench a Kyoto in a race meet compared to some other brands.
Yeah,
that's good.
I wouldn't know that, but I would agree. Only ever wrenched a car show, so there you go.
Alfie again, what do I need to do to make it into A-main finals in an international race? My best result was getting into the semi-finals. When I drive, I feel the most comfortable. I get the fast drivers passing me like I'm standing still. Any advice on how to practice? So when he's getting up into the semi-finals, he's racing comfortably, so he's keeping it on four wheels, but everybody else is just going,
good.
back off.
Yeah, well, what that is just you just.
I'll tell
need
you
more
what. While you're going to
practice.
answer that one, I'm going to go and grab some more ice. Back in a minute.
Okay.
I
What I
don't
would
have
say,
a car
Alf, is
steward.
carry on as you're doing with your car comfortable, because it's all very well going fast for a one lap and then you're making a mistake and you crash and you maybe lose 10 seconds, which is no good. It's better you feel comfortable, but you just got, the more practice you do, I promise you, the faster you will get. So all I can say is, like the pro drivers do, they practice 3 times a week and just keep driving and driving and driving, and just it will. You want to drive so it comes naturally to you, so you're not thinking about driving. You just keep driving round, and you will get faster and faster. And like we've talked about maintenance, make sure your car is working to the best it can be with your engine at a good performance. So if you keep everything together and nothing's going to fail, that's when you're going to get the results, and you'll get more chance of bumping up. That's what I always aim for. I think if the other drivers are faster than us, then all I can do is I can make the car so that it doesn't fall apart and everything's working fine for my driver. Then you can get the result, because one of these faster guys, if his maintenance is not too good, if he has a failure, you're in his place and that's it. You'll bump up to the final. And most of all, enjoy yourself. I need to go for a toilet break.
Okay, I hope Mick answered that question. I don't even know what he said. I was awake. What's that? Awesome. Right, okay, good. I'm assuming that he's actually answered that one then, Alfie. Chris Long, how you doing, Chris? Nice to see you on here as well. See you being out and about doing your jogging. Wrong way around. Okay, come on, guys. Any more questions that we'd like to ask for tonight? As I said, Naha, how you doing, Naha? Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, so well, Mick's away doing whatever he's doing. So on Monday, Peter Hamlink will be on with us, and on Tuesday, Mike will be out back with us, hopefully with Christoph. So Christoph, if you're watching, if you're on this one or you're going to watch this one, so Christoph, you got to come and join us for a call on Tuesday evening.
Is the boss watching?
I'm not too sure if he is or not. I don't think he is. I've not seen him on here, but if he is going to watch this later, then tell him he needs to get on here.
Yeah, so, we need to get him on next week.
Yeah, Vincent, you speak French. Have a word, will you? Akil's asking, Boots engine, Joe's engine, do you tune it to the maximum for them to get the pace they want to be in with the front runners? So
yeah,
we tune
it how they like it, and obviously as fast and fuel efficient. We're always looking for easy 7.5 minute fuel stops. So like I said before in previous chats, that to get 7.5 minutes comfortably, you have to do over 8 minutes, so that you've got nearly you need to leave yourself a lap. So if you're doing a 45-second lap, you need to be doing like 7.5 minutes. So you need to do a minimum of 8:15 to 7.5 minutes comfortably. So you've got a lap in hand, so you're not going to run out. So yeah, we tune their engines. Jow is the same. They want optimum performance. They want it to pick up right to how they have their clutch set up, and mainly they're looking for fuel mileage as well once the performance is there, because the performance can be really good, but we still might not get the fuel mileage you need, so we have to change a pipe or do something different, to get that fuel mileage. So that, because it's all very well being faster. I know Elliot's won 2 Euros doing 6-minute 40s, but that's when when you're fast enough to do that, you can get away with that. But when you're on the same pace, when it's very close on that pace, you need to be doing the same fuel stops as the other guys. Like Ronnefolk's always been good at doing like 9-minute stops, but even he starts reducing as his tyre wear goes through and he gets more wheel spin. You'll see his fuel stops reduce back down to from 9 minutes to start off with to 7.5 minutes. And again, it's good psychological. If the other guys are all coming in and they see that the other driver in front hasn't come in at 9 minutes at the beginning, then they start freaking out a little bit also, because they're thinking he's going to be doing 9 minutes all the way through, which is not always the case. But like I've always said, you always try and get your longest fuel stop in the first one, because the fuel tank's absolutely full up, and then you can see where you are with what we showed on the fuel gun. You can see where you are with your fuel strategy then, whether you can carry on. Sometimes we've had it where we've started off and we've gone, Jesus, the first fuel stop is absolutely taking everything. And that's at like 7.5 or 8 minutes, so we won't risk any longer. And then we check again. And sometimes how the driver's been driving, more where he's been trying to attack, he's used more fuel up. And the next time we might be bringing him a little bit earlier and see what the fuel is. And where he's calmed down a bit, the fuel level stays the same. But the most, basically you're aiming for the tuning of the engine to be the most efficient you can. And obviously you want the performance there.
And make sure that it's actually going to last throughout the finals.
You don't want it to overheat halfway through.
Yeah. Myman gets 12 minutes on a Scuderia. Very scary. Myman gets 12 minutes on the Scuderia, but that was with the Kyosho. I don't know what he's getting with his new car now. But also, he's a bit smoother on the throttle as well. Alfie's asking, when are we going to get to see Mike and Kanai for an interview? How's your translating at Japanese?
I know the bad words in Japanese, and Yuichi only knows the bad words in English.
That's going to be a short interview.
It'll be very tough to do that, unfortunately. The only way you can get it done is if you go to the international meeting in Italy, because remember Yuichi did a talk, didn't he, with a translator and that about all of the car. That was a pretty good meeting in Italy.
Yeah.
At the meeting you went to, George, with me.
Yeah, so he did that. I think Mitsu-san was translating, wasn't he? What's that?
Yeah, so I think that's the only way you can actually see that. So you have to go to the international meeting or at the Kyosho Masters as well. That's the easiest way. And we can always set something up that we get enough people asking. It's easy to be done, but it'd be easier in person rather than doing it video.
No, trying to do it over videos, it's a bit difficult to do that, I think. But like you say, if you see him at a meeting or something like that, and he's always open to talk.
Yeah, no problem.
Mitch will translate.
Yeah.
Alfie, now I'm driving Kyosho. I'm thinking I'll be at the Kyosho Masters. Good lad, Alfie. Well, you can come and join me then, mate. Right, so first we hit France, and then after France we go to Italy, or which one there was coming first?
Yeah, perfect.
And then Japan. I've still yet to hit all 3 Masters. Last year I was set to do it, which is actually lucky because I think Joel Lewis from Australia, he went up there and I think he did about 20 minutes on the track and it just pissed down for the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. So So I thought, maybe this year's going to be it. I think that's gone down the pan and all. Uh,
Yeah, it's a shame.
never mind.
But it's better that us, we're all around and we're safe, isn't it? And we can always race again. There's always plenty more races, you know.
Well, yeah, I'd rather live to see another race and be out
Yeah,
trying to get down there
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
I'll do Japan. Alfie, if you really want to experience the Kyosho Masters, you've got to go to RC 94 in France.
Yeah, you got to do
that's
the original
the real race.
first, and that's it then.
Yeah.
And then after that, you experience
Yeah.
the rest of it. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and that's a challenge. That track is a challenge. Yeah. Oh, is that chicane? That chicane. Jesus.
We both read the same.
That chicane, bloody hell. Yeah, that'll put your bollocks inside. Oh, you bugger. But you see, like Elliot and Joe and all these guys as well.
Yeah.
They go through there. They don't even let off the throttle. They just yeah. It's absolutely nothing. But you're actually while we're talking about the Masters. Sorry.
I think I can do it one lap out of the half an hour. I can get it right once, and then I try it again and nearly spiral. Or it hits the curve and takes off. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I tried it. I tried it twice, and I just launched the bloody car. Yeah.
You know that chicane's hard and fast when you see the marshal has to wear a crash helmet and he's got a fence in front of him and a proper arm coat barrier as well.
Yeah, that doesn't need a danger sign. If you can't figure that out, there's something wrong with you. But yeah, I mean, while we're talking about the Masters, that's the only place I've actually seen you ever race is at the Masters. Oh, and Hearts GP you race as well, right?
Yeah, and I did the Italy one with you as well. Yeah, they're the only three I race really now because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
It's so relaxed, and you get a lot of time with the Masters because they have three different categories where they have league, which is like beginner class, then they have expert, which is like club level final class, and then they have the elite, which is sponsored drivers. They keep making me go in elite now. I don't know why. I need to go back down in the experts or something like that. Have a chance.
Now hold on a minute. You keep making it to the A mains, mate. As long as you're making it into the A mains in elite, you're still going to be there.
I struggle at the Masters though. In France, I think the last time I made the final was 2017. I got lucky on the last lap. Some guy crashed and I got by him, and that was it.
I thought you made it on the 18. Was it 18? Yeah, 18.
Nah,
I think you made it.
No, I don't think so. I made it when we went to Italy. That one.
Yeah.
I managed to scrape it, didn't I? So I couldn't even see the car going around properly. Yeah.
That was a bit of a nightmare.
I was struggling.
Yeah, and the shaded bit in the back. But it was good. I enjoyed that track in Italy. It was a good laugh.
Yeah, it was
all the really nice guys down there.
Good meeting, really friendly people, beautiful weather. Everything was perfect, really. Food was good. Nice dinner. We had a nice dinner, didn't we? Where we went to that big restaurant
steaks.
with all the steaks. Oh,
yeah,
and the lake. Remember the lake?
Yeah.
Beautiful, wasn't it? Ice cream
out
there.
That was really nice, yeah.
Manila and what's her name done a beautiful job there with it.
Yeah, they did. It was absolutely fantastic. But sorry, going back to in France, because in France you're taking care of your car, you're taking care of Hannah's car, and you're also taking care of Taz's car as well, right?
Yeah, and then when
how the hell do you manage to take? Oh yeah, I'm taking so that's 4 cars. How the hell do you manage to take care of 4 cars?
It's just preparation again, like every driver should do. Is you get everything prepped before you go, so everything's ready. Even the tyres are all done and glued. Everything's ready, so that all I have to do is I take spare sets of diffs, and then if they need to go up in the diffs or whatever, and then I just change them over before the finals and do all the clutches and everything. So it's just working out your time and what you got to do. And lucky, like I say, with the Kyosho Masters, if you've got the 3 groups, then you get a bit more time because as they're going through the bump up finals, they're going through all the different groups then. So it's a bit easier. And plus, this year was going to be the first time that Tiana was in the elite group, Taro and me. So we'd all been in the same final. So even longer time now. And same qualifying heats as well. So we have to get everything done at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a bit easier.
Yeah, Diana did quite well last year as well, didn't she? Oh, and Taz did as well.
Yeah, Taz was he was in the final in the elite. He done all right, and Tiana won her class, and I don't know if she teamed it as well. She might have done, I'm not sure, but she won anyway, so that was good. So that's why she has to go in the elite now.
Yeah. Geez, still a lot of work. I mean, I struggle just taking care of a truggy and one of my buggies. Anyway, mate, I think we've been. How long have we been on here? Hour and a half. Never mind.
So this is on. What's this on now? This is on Facebook Live, YouTube, and somewhere else now. Is it?
So it's on 2 YouTube channels. One which is a Kyosho channel, which is run by Ari.
Okay.
It's also on my channel as well on YouTube. Which actually I do not know enough. Don't know enough about YouTube, so I need to read up a bit more about it and getting information out on the YouTube as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously on Facebook as well. Vincent saying here, T drove many guys crazy on the track last year. Why did T drive many guys crazy on the track last year?
I think it's because they were beating her and they didn't like her beating her at the home track.
I
think that's the reason.
Put the practice in.
a lot of the guys were complaining because I think she finished third in the year before or something like that, and they said she should have gone up into the elite group then. But I think you've got to win the expert group before you can go in elite. And the elite group was originally meant for pure factory and team drivers, where Tiana's not a team driver, so to speak. She's a good club level driver, you know. She's won an A final at club level. What's that? What they said?
Oh, you can't see the messages on there, can you? Because she was fucking fast.
She loved that track. It's like, you know, you have a favourite track. That's her favourite track. Yeah, she goes, when she likes a track, instead of moaning like she normally does, she gets on with it and drives. That's it. Yeah. You know.
But it's a good laugh. It's a good laugh. I mean, we drove down there last year, and I came and joined you guys down. Just like the Jolly Boys out.
Yeah, good road trip, isn't it? Good road trip.
Yeah, good drive down there.
That's why we need Bouvet-san on, so we can talk about his barbecues, the pre-Kyosho Masters barbecue that we go to as well at the Bouvet Chateau. So it's quite good.
That was good fun actually. That one last year. It was good. Anyway, we better wrap this up for tonight.
All right, mate. I've got to get the dinner going.
You got the you having another barbecue, are you?
No, I did a barbecue yesterday, so I'm gonna make some pasta tonight. So that should be good.
What,
I'll see.
You're making proper pasta?
No, that's the boiling the bag stuff. I'm making the other ingredients. I see some program on there today. Ainsley Harrison was showing how to make a nice pasta with tomato sauce, and he was actually using sausages, cutting the sausages open out of the skins and then cooking the meat up with that. He says because you've got good seasoned meat, so it's pretty cool. So I'm going
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kyosho cooking channel. So
and you can talk about
put that with the basil.
Yeah, that's it. A bit of basil and some thyme. I've got some thyme freshly growing out there.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Rosemary, sorry, not thyme, but I'm gonna.
You just turned off the camera. Rosemary. I love a bit of rosemary with the roasted potatoes.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, we've got all that. So I've got to get all that cooking up.
All right, mate. Well, as you turn the camera off, we shall say goodbye.
Have I turned it off badly or done something to it? Yeah, I've done something to it, mixed it up. Don't know what I've done to it.
Vincent, you love swearing, don't you? You love swearing as much as I do. Oh,
Yeah.
beep, hell, I love that meal. All right, mate. So we'll catch up with you again on Tuesday, yeah?
All right, mate. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks very much, mate. You take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, guys, that was it for this evening. Thank you all very much. Yeah, thanks very much for coming and joining us. I know I think whenever Mick and I get on for a chat, it always ends up being a lot longer than an hour. It's great to have all the comments coming in by Alfie, everybody else. That's absolutely brilliant. YouTube as well. So even if you're sending the comments up on YouTube, we will actually get them up here. They will be posted up to the screen as well. Excuse me. So let's say thanks very much. Monday night, 9 p.m. I think it is. We'll be up with Peter Hamling. So I'll let you guys know what's happening with that. Probably tomorrow daytime or something. I'll post that up on my Facebook. Then on Tuesday we'll get Mick back online again. Probably trying to get Christoph online with us as well, from KO Show Europe. So hopefully we'll get to have a bit of a chat then. So thank you very much, guys, and stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. All right, take care.